With the new 2020 Apple event officially announced and set to happen on September 15th, there are some exciting times happening in the very near future. One of the rumored products to come out of this event is a brand new iPad Air 4. Well, heck, we all know that I love the current iPad, so what are the rumors surrounding this mythical tablet, and what do I hope to see? Let's find out. It's in a case. What's up, everyone? I'm the Everyday Dad, and if I can figure it out, you can figure it out. Now, fairness for fairness sake, and in full disclosure, I've been pretty hard on the iPad Air in the past. If you were to look at it today, I don't feel the current iPad Air offers enough power to be picked up over something like the current standard iPad, and it's not that much cheaper if you were to pick up a refurbished iPad Pro 11. It's kind of in the middle, and it's just meh. However, some of the new developments and rumors that I've seen surrounding this new Air could actually make it a fantastically useful product. It might make my recommendations list. So let's start off with the things that I've heard, and we'll put you up here as like a display. You can be some eye candy. Let's start off with the display. The first thing that I would love to see on the iPad Air 4, heck, you know what? The first thing that I want to see on all Apple devices from here on out are displays that take after the display design that is on the new iPad Pro. They have just such small bezels, especially for the size of the device. The bezels on the new iPad Pros make it look almost totally different. This doesn't even look like its predecessors. Small bezels are great and all, Gary. Great. Thank you for telling me. What else does that give me? Well, thank you for asking. It gives you more screen real estate without really making the device bigger. For a perfect example of this outside the tablet market, check out the new Dell XPS 15 laptops. They have crazy small bezels, and because of that, you still get a regular size 15-inch laptop display, but the entire device, like when you look at that laptop by itself, it feels like a 14-inch laptop or even like a big 13-inch laptop. This could make the Air keep roughly the same size body as previous models, but give it much more usable screen real estate. And at the end of the day, that's kind of like exactly what a tablet needs to do to make forward strides. I'd also like to see it keep the 120 Hz refresh rate that you get on the iPad Pro, but I'm not married to that as a requirement. I use my iPad mainly for productivity, and like 90 to 95% of the work I do for YouTube outside of actually filming and editing. So the faster refresh rate, sure, it's great, but to keep the cost down, I'd be more than happy to stick with 60 Hz. Plus, I'm okay not getting a new type of display. I think Apple would save any sort of new mini LED version for the next round of the iPad Pro. And that got me thinking, while we're segmenting the entire line, here's what I would like to see as an ecosystem in the future. Yes, this will lead back to the Air, I promise. So let's have the iPad Pro. This can be the hard charger, cutting edge, expensive, powerful machine. This does most of the heavy lifting of R&D for the whole lineup. While the Air is the product that can take advantage of that R&D, but yet refine the blunt instrument the Pro had to be into a smaller, lighter, more efficient product at a more reasonable price point. While the standard iPad is like the youngest kid of the group that gets all the hand-me-downs from those two. And it will be the cheapest option, mainly bringing last generation's cutting edge to everybody that wants it. So if the Air, see, I told you we'd come back. If the Air keeps this kind of philosophy, here's what I'm really hoping to see. And yes, for me, this is way more important than the display. New connections. Connections are the most important part, right? Specifically, I want the iPad Air to have USB-C. Look, Lightning, you were great when you first came out, and yes, you still keep my phone's charged to the top, but your time as a primary pipeline for either power or data to anything that is considered a productivity device, your reign's over, man. Way over. I'll fight you, Lightning. Thunder. USB-C really needs to be the standard on all iPads going forward because this buys you a few key benefits. One, charging is just better on USB-C. All other mobile devices, besides Apple, have pretty much switched over already, so it will reduce the amount of cables, chargers, and other junk that you need in your house. And as somebody that has a lot of tech junk in their house, trust me, it's a lot. Like right now, I'm staring at a closet full of it. Reducing all the cables you need is a huge benefit for me, but there are other benefits if you are not like me and you don't buy all sorts of new tech the second it's announced. Some of you are sane people. USB-C is compatible with so many accessories, from cameras, audio devices, external storage. It is infinitely more versatile, and if you are going to get one of those external storage devices that I talk so much about, transfer speeds with USB-C will crush, like they'll crush anything that Lightning can manage. Plus, if we start talking about accessory support, USB-C gives any sort of dongle you might buy a huge amount of capability compared to a Lightning dongle. If we were to have to use a Lightning dongle with a theoretical iPad Air 4, we'd be able to maybe manage HDMI out and power at the same time. That's not that much, but with a USB-C dongle, you can get power, HDMI, multiple USB-A, SD card, micro SD card, Ethernet. Yes, we've gone a few paragraphs now extolling the virtues of USB-C. And honestly, I could go on for several more, but that would make this video boring. And I don't want to make USB-C boring because it's not. It's awesome. USB-C is awesome. Put USB-C on everything, Apple. Do it. Okay, let's move away from USB-C. I don't want to. Let's move away from USB-C, but stay in the accessory arena. I would like to see a renewed smart connection on the back. And I know the iPad standard has one, and that works fine. I want whatever this smart connection is, because what I want is to have a Magic Keyboard variant for the iPad Air. Now, this might be a contentious desire, because Magic Keyboards, these Magic Keyboards are expensive. It's straight up expensive to get one with the iPad Pro, and the Air should be cheaper. So this hypothetical Magic Keyboard would be like a much bigger percentage of cost over. So I get that buying an iPad, then spending the exact same amount or almost the exact same amount of money on a keyboard, that's not a great idea that a lot of people are going to enjoy. I mean, heck, at that point, just get the iPad Pro, right? And I agree. You're right, but I still kind of want it. And either way though, I think having a better smart connection on the back opens up not only the ability to have the Magic Keyboard, but also allows third-party developers to access more of the mouse functionality, and that could give you the trackpad. I mean, take the Logitech Folio that we used a few months ago. That would be a pretty good pairing with a device like an iPad Air 4. That would be awesome. According to the rumors I've had, the new iPad will have Touch ID and not Face ID. But since this is what I want, we can magic up anything. Heck, I could have an iPad Air 4 that literally prints money. Why not? It's my dream video, right? Okay, seriously though, if I were to pick, I would want to see both Touch ID and Face ID. There are times where I really do like just swiping up and having the iPad unlock, but there are others, a lot of others, that I just wish I could tap something instead. Since there would be no home screen on a iPad Air, it does seem like the touch sensor will be built kind of into the on-off sleep button, which might suck, and then being able to fall back on Face ID to be our primary unlocking method would be awesome. I don't know, we'll have to see how it works. Now, I do prefer Touch ID on the iPhone SE. I prefer Touch ID on all of my older iPhones, but it has a home button. I'm not sure how much I'll prefer Touch ID when it's built into the sleep button. We'll see. We'll see. I'm sure what'll happen is we'll try it out, I'll be blown away, and I'll love it. And I'll be like, I was wrong, everybody. Sometimes it happens. So I guess time will tell on this one. Power-wise, I think what I would like to see, again, isn't something that's cutting edge or new, so I'm okay without having a processor like the A14 that has not been released yet, and I think that would be better served in being in the 2021 iPad Pro. I think using the current A13 processor found in the latest iPhones, even the iPhone SE, I think that would be a good place to start when it comes to the power under the hood of the iPad Air 4. While it's not whatever mythical A14 beast the iPad Pro would get, the A13 is pretty darn powerful on its own. We've seen it, like here on this channel, we've seen it do some incredible things when we used the iPhone SE as a mobile computer with a simple dongle. That simple dongle turned that phone into an actual productivity and video editing powerhouse. With a little bit more space on the iPad and a little bit more RAM, I think using the existing processor architecture could make this hypothetical tablet something really special, and it might be. It might be the device to beat for something competing as an ultimate productivity tool. Kind of like how I treat the iPad Pro now, but much cheaper. The last big thing that I would like to see before we move on to the final section, price, is currently the iPad Air 3 comes as a base model with 64 gigabytes of storage. I would very much like to see that bumped up to 128 gigabytes. Yes, I know, and I hear all of the engineers out there that are telling me that that's probably the one place that could keep the price down. But while I'm okay with 64 gigabytes of storage on like a phone, I'm only okay with it. It's the absolute bare minimum for technology that could be used for what I would call real work. 64 gigabytes is scraping the bottom of the barrel. But a tablet, especially the iPad Air, it's supposed to be part of somebody's productivity device. It's not just a phone, it's supposed to be part of a work kit. Lighter, cheaper, and almost as fast, and 64 gigabytes of storage really puts a hamper on that, in a bad way. I think now that the MacBooks start out at 256 gigabytes of storage as base, any iPad that's not designed to strictly consume content should come standard with 128 gigabytes. That's the way the world is going, and if you're not gonna give us micro SD cards that we can bump up the storage ourselves, 128 really has to be the way that a mid-range iPad should be able to keep up with. So that's everything that I'd physically like to see out of the new iPad, but how much do I think the bad boy is going to cost? We're currently at $499 for the iPad Air 3. So we have talked an awful lot about new technology we want. We talked about refinements over old technology that we want, display, processor, etc. I think we could keep a lot of that at the same price, but with that increased storage, we're gonna have to pay for that somewhere. So taking all of those factors into consideration, I think the best price for a base model iPad Air 4 would be around $549 for the base 128 gigabyte, $699 for a 256 gigabyte model, and maybe going up to $899 for a 1 terabyte option. Plus, with pencil support and keyboard support, you could get the iPad plus like Smart Folio keyboard plus pencil for around $750. And I think that is a fantastic place to like position a device that could potentially replace all of your computers. So that's what I think, but what do you think we'll get in the next iPad? Leave me a comment below and let's chat on what we all think. Let's all mind meld together on what the iPad Air 4 could be. And if you liked this video and you are also curious about what the Apple Silicon Macs could be, I've got a 3-part series covering those that you should definitely check out. And you can find them all by clicking right here. Click, 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 click. Thanks for watching.